And welcome back. The 24/7 Sports National Signing Day Show, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, rolls merrily along here on this Wednesday morning. There you see the current, very up-to-the-minute 24/7 Sports team recruiting rankings. There are the top three classes: Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia Buckeyes and Longhorns rounding out the top five. We just talked about several classes, and we have several more classes to go. But we also have a lot of big announcements coming up today, guys, and we have several five-star players to talk about in mere moments. Shamar Stewart, Harold Perkins, Devin Campbell, those are three names that I wanted to toss around here. And I wanted to start with Harold Perkins, Steve. This is a name, for obvious reasons, that's garnered a lot of traction over the past couple of weeks. What do we know this morning with him?
Well, I talked to Harold Perkins' mom late last night, and she said that she talked to Florida, LSU, and Texas A&M yesterday, but Harold did not. She said that Harold turned off his phone, and he knows what he's doing. She said his mind is made up. She tried to get it out of him to purchase the right colored decorations for the ceremony, but Harold wouldn't give it up. So they're going with the black and gold colors you see there on video at the Harold Perkins commitment celebration today, which will be broadcasted live with us at 4:30 on CBS Sports HQ. Look, I know that Florida really moved the needle with their official visit in the middle of January. The people on campus, led by Billy Napier and that staff. Jamar Chaney has been integral for Florida in that recruitment. He's really clicked with that staff, and most of those guys went in home with him this past Thursday and were in the house till almost midnight, and they had a terrific time hanging out. Then he took his official visit to LSU, surrounded by several family members in Baton Rouge. I think that the new defensive coordinator, Coach House, made an impression with his scheme during a Zoom. The man was coaching the Kansas City Chiefs, but found the time to get on Zoom with guys like Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews while they were in on their official visits. And I think that they like the scheme. They love Coach Frank Wilson. He's from New Orleans. You know, LSU's a place he's been several times. There's great familiarity with that program. And then Texas A&M. Mom said that's where she originally wanted him, you know, closer to home in Texas. He was committed to the Aggies, committed to them at the Under Armour All-America game, but obviously reopened the process. I don't think any of the schools have been notified. She said everybody's going to find out at the same time, including her, with us at 4:30.
You saw there in the class rankings, LSU and Florida, two teams you just mentioned. They're sitting there, I think, 18 and 19 right now. So that could obviously be a huge impact there in the 24/7 Sports team rankings, which tend to fluctuate throughout the day on National Signing Day. What about Shamar Stewart, Andrew? Latest there.
Well, I was on the phone with his camp last night, and the big development there was Miami hired a defensive coordinator in Kevin Steele, and they said they were FaceTiming with him. Shamar, not all that familiar with Kevin Steele. I think there was some interaction when he was at Auburn for a little bit, but this is a two-team battle. You know, Shamar visited Georgia 2 weeks ago. This past weekend, he took his official visit to Miami. They rolled out the red carpet. I think we overused that phrase here in the recruiting industry a bit, but I mean, he was at Prime 112, which is a fancy restaurant in Miami Beach, ran into Shaq there. So Miami put the full court press as much as they could on, but I'm just getting the vibe that Texas A&M's in a pretty good spot here. I think relationships are really big in this recruitment, and Shamar doesn't just know one guy in College Station. He knows everyone, and he's really familiar with all of them. So even though Texas A&M lost Mike Elko to Duke to become the head coach at Duke, you know, there's multiple people in that building that Shamar has clicked with. He's been there multiple times, and I think he sees that the Aggies are about to turn the corner and potentially play for a college football title one day. So I think Texas A&M's in there, and we'll see. You know, his name's been linked to Jackson State a little bit. You know, I keep asking his camp. They keep kind of shutting that down, but who knows? We saw some drama during the early signing period, so anything can happen.
And I can say the Perkins camp has shut down that Jackson State talk too, talking to his mom and his uncle, but we'll see, obviously.
You know, you see my hand shaking right here. It's not for caffeine. It's just because I have vivid recollection of what early signing day was like. And so I will never allow anyone to tell me that anything is impossible, because I just picture, you know, angels in the outfield, just the flapping in the back of my mind. It could happen. I'm just leaving that. It could happen. By the way, there is no bump rule on Shaq. At Prime 112, you can bump into him as many times as you want to. It's very convenient. I don't know how often you frequent that establishment.
Well, I've never been there, but Steve pointed this out. Shamar, when I was talking to him, he goes, oh, Shaq was much bigger than me. And Shamar's 6'6", 272 pounds. It's like, yeah, obviously he is, but I thought that was pretty funny.
LSU alum Shaquille O'Neal, that's the first school that trended for Shamar. So these recruitments take a lot of twists and turns throughout the process. I know people want one prediction and then you ride it out to the end, but there was a time where Baton Rouge looked like it was going to be the place for Shamar, but you know, Texas A&M, the one trending going into today.
Steve, I'm also looking at Devin Campbell here. I see a lot of stars next to his name, but there is no commitment next to his name. That will change, we believe, today. What's the latest?
Yeah, Devon DJ Campbell down to Texas and Oklahoma. The Texas Longhorns are the heavy favorite in this one as they put together the best offensive line class in the country in this 2022 cycle, and that's something that obviously we've never really said on this set. Texas recruiting the best offensive line class in the country. They landed all the top guys in the state at the position, in my opinion, and I think Devon DJ Campbell is the best offensive lineman in the country overall. I mean, he's a guy that is an absolute road grader. He punishes people on film. He can move. I think he's an instant impact type of guy for whichever program he chooses. He did not take any visits in January. His mind's been made up. He's just waiting for the National Signing Day spotlight. It's going to be here on CBS Sports HQ, and I think it's going to be good news for Coach Sark and company.